scratch my ass and smell my hand?
The motel just threatened to kill me!
Get out of my car!
Stop! The motel threatened to kill.
So like every good or downright disastrous thing has a beginning. Daniel Larson's story kicks off with a bang on November 15th, 1998. Yep, that's when this curse arrived on Earth, born to Elizabeth and Travis Larson. Now, if you're expecting a heartwarming tale of happy parents and a cozy childhood, you're in for a letdown, because the Larson household was more of a cautionary tale of how not to raise a kid. Even Daniel's own grandmother flat out described the place as dangerously neglectful.
Has become one of the Rocky Mountain region's leading treatment centers for emotionally and crisis-affected children, particularly those suffering from abuse and neglect.
Good boy.
When I first came here, I actually was really nervous.
That's 14-year-old Danny.
Thankfully, Grandma wasn't the type to just sit around and let her grandson's life spiral. When Daniel was about 11, she took drastic measures, ditching sunny California to haul herself over to Colorado. She was determined to rescue this kid before he ended up in foster care, or worse. She enrolled him at the Tennyson Center, a place for children who've had it rough, whether from abuse or mental struggles.
Danny, who came from an extremely neglectful home.
When he came to Tennyson almost 3 years ago, he was very angry and confused and feeling very uncertain about his life and where he belonged and what was going to happen.
I learned to, when I'm in school, to do school and never quit, because if you quit, you won't know what to do. And if someone's trying to get you upset, don't let them make you feel bad about yourself. Just be good and make yourself feel happy.
He likes himself now. He feels good about himself. I'm not saying he's a finished job. He's got more work to do, but he's a much different child than he was when he first.
And for a hot second, it seemed like things were looking up. Daniel even got a little news feature about his progress, smiling on camera and talking about how he was learning to handle his emotions and take pride in schoolwork. But let's not kid ourselves. Even in that brief moment of hope, you could tell this battle inside him was far from over.
Rest in peace. Black Lives Matter.
And then came the comment that set off a chain of events no one could ever see coming. One day, while Daniel was watching America's Got Talent with his grandmother, he became fixated on Grace Vanderwall, this super talented kid singer. Grandma, trying to be playful, tossed out the idea that if Daniel becomes famous, he might date someone like Grace someday. Sounds innocent, right? Well, not for Daniel. That little throwaway line stuck in his brain and morphed into a full-blown obsession. As the years went by, what should have been harmless admiration twisted into something deeply disturbing. Daniel became fixated, collecting photos of Grace on Pinterest. Yeah, a site for crafting ideas turned into a red flag hub for his followers. What started out as a fan thing spiraled into a full-on delusional fantasy.
Stay off the internet as much as you can. Or stay away from the people on Reddit, bro. Because I've noticed...
That's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to kind of lay low. I've already made that decision.
Yeah, the people, it's such a big dichotomy, a big difference. You look at the TikTok people, the TikTok fans of you, they love you. You look on Reddit, they all hate you.
It's all hate.
It's all hate on Reddit. So, and these are
then also, one more thing. Grace is supposed to be looking at houses and getting houses for us, or a house for us in Colorado.
He declared his undying love in ways that made everyone, including Grace and her family, incredibly uncomfortable. And when he didn't get the attention he craved, that so-called love flipped into dark, unhinged threats. And of course, the trolls couldn't resist jumping into the chaos. They impersonated Grace or her management, playing with Daniel's fragile grasp on reality. They convinced him she loved him back or needed him to prove his loyalty. He fell for it hard. One time they tricked him into believing Grace had been hurt, prompting him to post frantic, tearful videos online. And the trolls? They sat back and watched as he spiraled further.
Mom in the past, and it inevitably led to him getting what he wants. He thinks it's gonna happen here. That's at least my theory on all this. It kind of is a bit reminiscent to when Chris Chan would pout about wanting to get out of jail. You just could tell that he was like, come on now, I'm God, get me out of here, you're gonna really regret it if you don't. He's just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing if any of it gets him out of jail sooner. And spoiler, it probably won't.
Yeah. So my advice to you would be when you get out, just...
But it didn't stop at online antics. Daniel's obsession leaked into the real world, affecting Grace and her family in terrifying ways. Years of harassment forced them to take legal measures. The girl who once dazzled audiences with carefree music was now dealing with a man who claimed he'd do anything for her. And not in a cute rom-com way, his threats were specific, intense, and all wrapped up in a twisted idea of love. And like every twisted drama spiraling out of control, Daniel Larson's life got turbocharged into chaos, thanks to trolls who figured out how to mess with him.
For what happens next. And Flexburger on YouTube and TikTok, you are a fucking bitch for exposing me. We are calling the Denver Police Department and reporting you.
Please do not misconstrue that this is why.
Like it was a sport. Around early 2020, a guy calling himself Flex Beeger appeared out of nowhere, claiming to be some hotshot music executive. Think of a Hollywood agent, but replace all the glitz with a steaming pile of lies.
Under Flexburger, please do not look at it. It's a picture of my ding-a-ling. For some reason, this guy has changed the text message in the entire thing to mean something different because of the accusations about me. Do not believe it. We have Interscope's security team, cybersecurity team, working on everything right now to clear everything. We're going to get it taken.
Daniel, who had this borderline obsession with becoming famous, fell for it hard. Flex spun dreams about record deals, sold out world tours, and everything in between. Daniel bought every word, hook, line, and sinker, thinking his ticket to fame had finally come. Flex wasn't there to make Daniel the next big thing. He was there for the laughs. Instead of red carpets and music awards, Daniel got public humiliation. The so-called career opportunities Flex dangled were just setups to get Daniel to do bizarre, soul-crushing stunts. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more absurd, the trolls doubled down. They made him believe he was some global changemaker.
Blake Shelton and Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter!
In another video, he would do jumping jacks to get the George Floyd riots to stop.
This is for George Floyd. Rest in peace. Black Lives Matter.
He filmed a video called Jumping Jacks for Black Lives Matter during the height of the George Floyd protests, genuinely thinking his jumping jacks could bring world peace. It's like he thought he was the internet's messiah or something. He even believed that these random, ridiculous acts were catapulting him to fame. You could almost hear the trolls laughing behind their screens.
Here right now, because I'm in a current lawsuit, court case, because my life is at risk. And I'm going to explain why that happened. I'm going to explain exactly why that happened. So, because of my autism, my grandmother passed away of cancer in 2019. And I wanted to be a singer. I was always performing when I was younger, not at a professional level. I've always wanted to also run for politics and become president of the United States. So, I'm 23 years old. This is only the beginning of...
By late 2020, the delusions got wilder. Daniel went on TikTok Live, confidently announcing he was running for president. No joke, he called himself Mr. President and preached policies that made no sense whatsoever. But he went all in, declaring his candidacy with a passion that would make any campaign manager cringe. Trolls and viewers kept egging him on, treating his presidential ambitions like the next big sitcom.
I'm gonna say about 5 minutes, maybe less. I'm hoping it's less, but this is a very, very serious situation. I started doing about 3 or 4 covers, and it took social media by storm. And I want to say within 6 months, I was gaining per week 20 million views on social media per week. And now here I am, 3 years later at 600 million views and a lawsuit that could put my life at risk. So I came out here because I wanted.
And yet, despite being mocked endlessly, Daniel kept pushing for stardom. His obsession with being a musician was relentless, and it just made him an easier target. The trolls kept coming, and he kept feeding them content, turning his life into this weird social media circus where people tuned in not to cheer him on, but to gawk at the disaster in progress. By 2021, Daniel had gone viral for all the wrong reasons. The fame he wanted turned into a never-ending stream of internet memes, viral clicks, and public humiliation. Oh, and let's not forget the fog. Somehow Daniel's bathroom became famous because of this bizarre foggy mirror-like effect that appeared in his videos. It was weirdly entertaining, like some strange metaphor for the confusion surrounding his whole existence. People fixated on it, adding another layer of absurdity to his already surreal online presence.
To kill me. I had to, otherwise he would have killed me. I demand being on the Vanderbilt team. I demand, I repent, I repent, I repent, I repent. Look at my last YouTube video, guys, now. It's getting worse, and I'm about to have a panic attack. What happened to my support? What happened to my team?
Then came May 6, 2021, a day that solidified Daniel's title as the internet's most tragic puppet. Another fake manager convinced him he was auditioning for an adult film role that would supposedly make him a worldwide star. You can guess where this is going. In front of over 500 live viewers, he exposes himself again, thinking he was finally seizing his big opportunity. His account got axed, backlash poured in, and Daniel was left confused and desperate, wondering why his life kept taking these horrifying nosedives. The fallout wasn't just digital. Daniel's mental health also plummeted. He was so deep in paranoia that he believed he was being followed, or that there were forces plotting against him. What he thought was internet fame had become a living nightmare, a twisted game where he was both the pawn and the punchline.
I'm currently under attack. You need to let me on the team now. I don't know what to do. Please let me on the team. I can't do anything. I want out. I want out. I will take down 2 videos on YouTube to show that I care. I will take down 2. It's not letting me into my email. It's not.
The people around him had to deal with the escalating outbursts, the public meltdowns, and the blurred line between victim and threat. What started as a desperate quest for validation left a wake of destruction. A cautionary tale of how a fragile mind and the brutal internet can be a truly disastrous mix. Like any descent into absolute madness, things for Daniel Larson took a hard left into genuinely dark and disturbing territory. November 2020 was the month when the proverbial skeletons tumbled out of his closet, or in this case, leaked out of his Pinterest account, and left the internet collectively horrified. Until then, Daniel had been that bizarre, unpredictable internet character you couldn't look away from, like a reality TV show you hate but can't stop watching. But when Flex Beeger, that same troll who had once dangled fake music career dreams in front of him, played a part in exposing the contents of Daniel's Pinterest, everyone quickly realized they weren't just dealing with an online oddball anymore. The Pinterest boards were, simply put, terrifying. This wasn't your usual Pinterest fare of home decor inspo or recipe ideas. Instead, Daniel's boards were meticulously organized collections of content that crossed well into deeply unsettling and even illegal territory. The themes? An obsessive focus on minors, categorized by age, and other creepy specifics that made everyone's skin crawl.
To use pictures of girls and masturbate to them.
Photos of Grace VanderWaal, the singer he'd been unhealthily fixated on for years, were plastered everywhere, along with images of other young girls. The board names weren't just weird, they were a flashy neon sign pointed to something way darker. In one leak, Daniel's entire persona flipped from harmlessly weird to potential predator, and the shift was instant and brutal. Before the leak, people still found Daniel a bit of tragic, bizarre entertainment. But that vanished overnight. Even his most loyal watchers couldn't defend what had come to light. The disgust was real, and the fear was palpable. And Daniel? Well, his reaction was less than stellar. He didn't deny owning the Pinterest account. In fact, there were moments when he seemed to almost admit to it, only to backtrack awkwardly, muttering that he hadn't used it in a long time. It was the kind of response that convinced exactly no one. His reputation was completely obliterated. And then came the authorities.
Don't do anything! Don't grab me like that, bitch! Don't grab me! I have no fucking camera, bitch!
Days later, Daniel would make one of
They had been keeping a cautious eye on him for a while, considering his increasingly erratic behavior. But this Pinterest disaster put him squarely on the radar of law enforcement, from local police to the FBI. Suddenly, Daniel wasn't just a strange internet personality. He was a potential criminal under serious investigation. Both the online and offline worlds became wary of him. Whatever hope he had left for even a shred of normalcy evaporated when those boards leaked.
They are thinking that I am currently being suspicious, with me being on video and panicking. Oh my fucking hell. Okay, the fans want me to go to a particular location. They're trying to plan an assassination attempt. I need security. I need help ASAP. This is serious. I'm under attack. Stop. You guys are f***ing scaring me. Stop.
By April 2022, the train wreck had rolled right into his first homeless arc. And yes, his followers actually called it that, like it was the latest season of a terrible ongoing drama. After ditching the group home he blamed for all his problems, Daniel found himself homeless on the streets of Denver. One early incident, the infamous porch charging event, saw him desperately trying to charge his phone on a random homeowner's porch.
Get the f*** out, I'm telling you. Did you fucking hear what I said? Get the f*** out of here.
What's going on there?
I have a trespasser sitting on my porch who doesn't want to leave.
When the owner confronted him, Daniel acted like he had every right to be there, as if public porches were some kind of universal charging station. He even recorded the whole awkward confrontation, somehow thinking it justified his sense of entitlement. Homelessness for Daniel wasn't just a sad chapter, it was a circus of manipulation and delusion. Trolls convinced him to head out to California, with grand promises of music deals and the chance to finally meet Grace VanderWaal. Thus began the wild California arc, a chaotic journey filled with breakdowns, paranoia, and some truly humiliating public meltdowns.
Your test.
I don't think the nukes affect celebrities.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Where did you just go, Dan?
Downstairs to the lobby.
What did they say?
They're trying to find it.
Hey, Dan.
Daniel was constantly convinced he was being followed or plotted against, making for a never-ending stream of disturbing content that trolls ate up like popcorn. And who could forget the absurdity of the mac and cheese poisoning incident? During a brief stint back at a group home, Daniel took one bite of his dinner, claimed it tasted like cow piss, and then unleashed a paranoid rant accusing his caretakers of trying to kill him. The level of irrational behavior here was off the charts, but that's the thing. His paranoia only got worse, evolving into this all-consuming belief that everyone was out to get him.
Leave before I get the police on you!
You punched the machine.
Anything on social media, you will be f***ing sued!
A couple of days after this clip is taken.
By the time Daniel's infamous travel arc began, he was a paranoid mess, barely clinging to reality. He started meeting with other TikTok personalities, hoping these connections would be his salvation. Instead, they only made things worse. Hygiene, non-existent. Daniel developed scabies, yes, actual flesh-burrowing mites, as his living conditions spiraled further. His spiral into pure instability and outright violence hit full throttle in ways that make your average thriller plot look tame. By 2021, his erratic antics had crossed over into dangerously uncharted territory. Think repeated assaults, unhinged public meltdowns, and a whole bunch of chaos you'd expect from a crime drama, not real life.
I'm not putting hands on you! Try me! Try me! Try me! Try me! Try me, bitch! Try me, bitch! Try me, bitch! Try me, bitch! I will f***ing murder you! I will f***ing murder you, bitch! Get this f***ing Fans are leaking my location, bitch! Fans are leaking my location, bitch! 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 104 55 P Street. Fans are leaking my location! Danger!
I've been recording.
Fans are leaking my location! I'm f***ing famous!
That's not something that she's
Obviously trespass, and I'm gonna press charges for you assaulting.
I never assaulted you! I never put hands on you, bitch!
One standout episode, because apparently his life needed chapters, was the infamous reverse mohawk incident. Here's how it went down. Some trolls pretending to be friends offered to give him a fresh buzz cut. Sounds innocent enough, right? Well, instead of a clean shave, they left him with a hideous reverse mohawk and bolted, leaving Daniel looking like he lost a bet. Furious and humiliated, he filmed himself in a total rage, screaming incoherent threats, and putting on a meltdown performance that left zero doubt about his mental fragility. But the violence? Oh, it wasn't reserved for the trolls alone. Daniel turned his aggression on just about anyone unlucky enough to cross his path. In July 2021, he went after his caretaker, Jonas, all because he suspected Jonas of trying to poison him. The situation escalated so fast you'd think it was scripted. Daniel filmed himself hurling obscenities, threatening violence, and painting himself as the ultimate victim.
Whoa!
I never assaulted you!
Step back right now!
I never assaulted you!
Step back right now!
I never assaulted you!
You do a table
I never assaulted you! Just because those people are causing issues, you want to...
And if that wasn't enough, his temper tantrums also played out in public. Once he trashed a group home, punching holes in walls and throwing things around like a one-man demolition crew. It got so bad that even places built to care for troubled individuals refused to take him in, particularly pushing him into the cold arms of homelessness. Then there were the threats, not the vague throwaway kind. We're talking seriously disturbing specific threats. Daniel's paranoia had reached the point where he was making calls to Las Vegas casinos, claiming he planted explosive devices. The bomb threats were hoaxes, but law enforcement wasn't about to take any chances.
Okay, I'm going to need to wait until somebody can send out security.
They put him under surveillance, and it didn't stop there. Daniel took things even further by pretending to be an FBI agent, cornering random people and barking orders as if he had some kind of delusional authority. His warnings weren't just empty ramblings. He'd name targets and describe in detail what he planned to do, making everyone from neighbors to actual FBI sit up and pay attention. And just when you thought the chaos couldn't peak any higher, we got the Olive Garden and Panera Bread incidents. In December 2022, Daniel stormed into an Olive Garden, set off a fire alarm, and accused the staff of printing illicit photos of him. Seriously! When the manager confronted him, Daniel declared he was making a citizen's arrest and claimed the FBI had given him authority.
You said that and it's on video.
That I was printing off documents?
Yes.
You're okay, so here's the deal. I'm gonna actually come over here Over here. We've been very nice. Like, that's what I'm gonna tell you. You're not filming me, correct?
I am legally required to.
No, you can actually just leave now.
I don't have to leave. The FBI is here. I have photos.
Okay, sir, this is what I'm gonna tell you. You're gonna calm down right now. You're gonna stop filming me, or I'm gonna call the police and they're gonna remove you from here. I know that's what you want. I know that's what you're famous for on TikTok, but we are not doing this. You're gonna curse at me again, or you're going to leave.
I never cursed.
Okay, sir. What I'm gonna tell you right now is you're gonna stop filming and you're going to leave, or I'm going to.
The police were called, and he left with a warning, but that did nothing to curb his delusions. A short time later at Panera Bread, he melted down again, screaming that trolls had leaked his location and that the staff were somehow involved. He shouted death threats, leaving the employees terrified and earning himself a year-long ban from every Panera. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compared to the horror show that unfolded at Buffalo Wild Wings. April 5th, 2023 marked that day because it was Daniel Larson's most deranged act yet. Trolls set him up for a fake job interview, and when the manager inevitably told him to leave, he exploded.
Kill you! Kill you! Call the feds on me, you liar! Bomb! 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 Kill! 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 Kill!
We're talking about a full-on frothing at the mouth rant, where he spewed violent threats against government officials and the public. His words were so vile and graphic that they're basically unrepeatable. He stood there filming himself, eyes wild and voice shaking with rage, promising mass destruction. It was the moment where people stopped seeing him as a tragic case and started viewing him as an actual threat.
Stay on my chin. Make sure I'm homeless for the rest of my life. You did it. No, bitch. Kill, 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 kill. This is a message. Redacted. You didn't listen to Bob and me. And this is what you get.
By May 2024, it was clear that Daniel had crossed every line imaginable. His final arrest wasn't some slap on the wrist situation. It was the result of a long, damning investigation. He made so many credible threats, even targeting the White House, that authorities had no choice but to build an airtight case against him. Armed with years' worth of incriminating videos and a documented history of aggression, law enforcement swooped in. This time, Daniel was facing charges that could land him in prison for up to 60 years. That once trivial nuisance had become a legitimate danger. Even the FBI, who once saw him as just another unhinged internet figure, now considered him a real threat. His arrest wasn't just a moment of justice, it was a wake-up call. Proof that the system could no longer shrug off his violent outbursts and delusional threats. The case was so solid that his public defender barely had any defense to mount, and Daniel's broken mental state became the subject of heated debates.
You're a weirdo, and yeah. I mean, and I get some circumstances, but at the same time, you really are a menace to the streets of Colorado. I'm a 20-year-old kid from St. Louis in community college, and I know literally nothing. So.
Should he be locked up in prison, or was a mental institution more appropriate? Either way, one thing was painfully obvious. This was no longer the boy from the Tennyson Center. This was a man synonymous with chaos, someone who had spiraled so far into violence and delusion that he left a trail of fear in his wake. His story, once a source of absurd entertainment, had transformed into a haunting example of what happens when unchecked mental instability collides with internet infamy. So what do you think? Daniel Larson's wild ride, A cautionary mess? Or just the internet's weirdest reality show? Drop your thoughts down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead. It's easier than pulling a fire alarm at Olive Garden.